Hey guys, welcome to yet another new episode of my vlog. It's another record collection episode. Today I've done a few different record collection episodes. If you check out my playlist, I have a playlist for those on my channel, and I'm going to add this to that. Today I'm covering the Eagles. I pretty much have the entire Eagles discography, at least from their first run of being together from between 72 and 1980. And I'm going to start this video with this. I know it's not an Eagles album, but it almost is, and this album is kind of what sparked the formation of that group in 1971. As y'all Eagles fans will all know, Linda Ronstadt was looking for a backup band, and she found one in Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Randy Meisner, and Bernie Leadon, and they all perform on this album. Not necessarily like on every track. Some are on some tracks, some are on others, but all four of them appear at least at some point on this album, and also do some harmonies as well, so you can sort of hear the Eagles starting to be formed if you listen to this album. It's also just an excellent album. I love the early 70s singer-songwriter movement. Not that Linda wrote songs, but she was in that style. And then later in 72, the Eagles released this famous debut album, and yeah, it's got that iconic front cover picture. Apparently it was during this photo shoot that the Eagles got their name, as a big giant eagle flew over them. May or may not have flown over them. They were also high on peyote at the time, so who knows what actually happened there. But yeah, great gatefold shot there, and not sure if this is an original pressing. I feel like this isn't the specific Asylum label that the original one had, not sure, but this is the version I have. Of course, this is the album with Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, Peaceful Easy Feeling, and many other great tunes. Then you got Desperado from 1983. Kind of a ballsy move for a band to make their second album a concept album, and this album really didn't sell as well as the debut. Although the song Desperado has become a classic, partially due to, speaking of Linda Ronstadt, her cover had something to do with this being a success over time. Again, that same Asylum label. Of course, this album also has Tequila Sunrise, which has become an enormous hit as well. I have this extremely kind of gross, water-damaged version of On the Border. Believe it or not, this album plays fine, and that means more to me than the cover value, but still. It was for this album that the Eagles went with how am I going to pronounce this? Bill Szymczak is how I think you'd pronounce it. He was the producer who had worked with Joe Walsh in the past. One thing I find interesting about my pressing of this is it uses the old-style Asylum center ring label. Not sure if that's just a Canada thing or if they all look like that. I'm not sure. I'm not big on my Asylum Records label history, frankly. But yeah, they used Joe Walsh as producer on this, and also on some songs for this album. Don Felder started to fill in some lead lines, particularly in the song Already Gone, and he was a major influence on the band's sound, and he became a full-fledged member for their next album, One of These Nights. There's the new 5-piece lineup with the Eagles on the back there. I also love the inner sleeve picture there. Interesting little Eagles logo that was pretty much only used for this album. I guess it's not really an Eagles logo, it's more just for this album, as I said. And yeah, again, your stock Asylum label. And then, for arguably the greatest, or the best-selling album of all time, which is their greatest hits package, greatest hits 1971 to 75. I guess you can't say I have every Eagles release from their first period, because I don't have their greatest hits volume 2. Yeah, this album goes back and forth with Michael Jackson's Thriller for best-selling album of all time. You got a custom centering label for this one. Yeah, I don't listen to this one that much just because, I have all of the studio albums that those songs came from. Not big on the compilation albums myself. Everyone, I feel like, has this album in their collection somewhere. It's just kind of a must. you know, one of those. Mine's kind of damaged. Of course, as they all did, it's got that custom sleeve there. And of course, as you all know, for this album, Bernie Ledden was out. And like I said, the Eagles had gotten Joe Walsh's producer, Bill Shimchek. And eventually they were like, why don't we just get Joe Walsh? And they did. And they put out, didn't sell actually as many copies as this did, but still one of the most mind-bogglingly successful albums ever. Of course, every song is great. I actually did a Facebook live stream one time where I sang that whole album start to finish. I believe if you go on the Graham Strang Music Facebook page, you can still find that live stream where I played many of the Eagles' greatest hits, and then I did Hotel California in full. I gotta do another vlog like that sometime, or live stream rather. Then from 1978, I have Joe Walsh's solo album, but seriously folks, it's such a shame that I don't have more Joe Walsh stuff. I don't really even have, I don't have a lot of Eagles solo material here. Just this one, but this is the classic album with the Life's Been Good so far. I love the inner sleeve is the tablecloth that you see on the table for his little weird underwater picnic he's having on here. I love Joe Walsh's album titles, don't we all? You know, but seriously folks, is this one. I believe he's got an album called Excuse Me, You Have Any Gum? I know he has an album called The Smoker You Drink, The Player You Get. Who knows what that means? Long run. As the title would imply, this album was a long undertaking by the band. It came out 3 years after Hotel California, and it would become the last studio album in the Eagles' first run. And by this point, Randy Meisner was out, and Timothy B. Schmidt was the new bassist. You do get a band shot here in the gatefold. Heartache Tonight was a big hit from this album, as was the title track there. I like the song Those Shoes as well. Oh, and of course it's got I Can't Tell You Why, which has kind of become Timothy B. Schmidt's signature number. And the last album I'm going to show you from my collection is the great Eagles Live double album. Again, my copy not in the best of shape, but I do love this album. It's so fun to listen to. This album has actually got some material taken from 2 different tours. You've got some songs from the I believe it was the Forum in 1976, just before Hotel California came out, but they play some songs from Hotel California, including Wasted Time, which I don't think they did live that often rather. And then a lot of other songs were taken from Long Beach 1980, aka the infamous Long Night in Long Beach, would be the last Eagles concert for 14 years. And yeah. It was called The Long Night in Long Beach because they couldn't get along. They were threatening to beat each other up the whole night. What I find is funny, when I picked up this album, one of the inner sleeves was just the One of These Nights inner sleeves. I don't know how that happened. Someone got their sleeves mixed up before I bought this. And then the other one actually has the standard Eagles Live inner sleeve. Anyway, that's my full Eagles vinyl collection. Hope you've enjoyed it. None of these albums are hard to find at all. Eagles were massively successful. None of this is at all rare, and I'm sure there'll be lots of you out there who have just as many, if not more, Eagles albums as I do. But I love them, so I figured I'd show them to you. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, sweet Lord, what a travesty. I almost forgot the 45s. How could I forget that? I only have one Eagles 45. New Kid in Town with Victim of Love on the B-side. I'm not doing any paid promotion here, but I did get this at Holy Cow Records in Pike Place. I love shopping in Pike Place in Seattle when I get the chance to go down there. Yeah, I just had to pick this up when I saw it. And I do have 2 45s from Eagles solo releases. I've got Don Henley's, I believe it's 1982 classic, Dirty Laundry, which has Lila on the B-side. And then finally, Glenn Frey's True Love with the B-side, A Working Man. that is now the complete full list of all the Eagles releases that I have. I finally got them all. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a professional musician myself. Check out the description for a full list of all my upcoming concert dates, as well as links to where you can find my music, where it is sold or streamed online. Like this video if you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel if you've been enjoying my videos, and ring the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, which should be in a couple of days or so. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, catch you again when I put out a new vlog. See you then.